We're good?
Back on.
We're
Yeah, it's pretty
good.
good.
I think we're good. Wow.
Cool.
I think we're good. Awesome.
We're
All
here.
right. Yeah, it's better. Thanks for bearing with us, everyone. That was that was fun. Um, oh, there's a little bit. Let's give it a go.
Let's do it. Nice. Dude,
Awesome.
calling in from across the world
That's it, man.
right
That's
now.
it. It's 11:30 here. I'm excited for this chat.
Yeah, same here, man. You're in Melbourne right now?
I am. Yeah. And you?
I am in Southern California, Orange County, just south of LA.
Oh,
Yeah, just
so
finished a yoga session with a good friend out in New York. Her name's Isabella. She's going through like a whole yoga training right now. So we just did a session, and it was honestly one of the most intense like sequences I've done in a long time. Really opened up my hips, but at the same time it was relaxing. But I just really needed that release down in the legs. So it's good.
I've just done woke up, done my breath work, into I'm training my heart and my lungs to breathe in coherence. So practicing a bit of that, and then into a transcendental meditation, and some warm water to warm the body up. So feeling good, excited for this chat. So a bit of context for everyone on here. So we've got a group, me and Charlie and a bunch of others. It's called the Vibe Tribe on Facebook, and we're essentially creating a peer support group for people to co-journey and develop through life. We've recognized this is based off like theory of psychology and sociology, that it's really important to have tribe as we co-journey through life together, because sometimes the communities we're in, or even just relying on ourselves, is not enough. And we're also going live on Facebook here, but we thought it would just be cool to get on and have a brief chat, and we've got 3 questions for each other too to answer. So I'm excited to see what Charlie's brewed up in terms of the questions, but I don't know where this is going to go. I don't think he does either. But let's just get real. Let's have some real talk. Let's get raw and see where this goes.
Let's do it.
Anything you're vibing to start with, Charlie?
I think I'll start with just the state of everything right now. I know that sounds like super high level and intense, but I just think it's incredible that we can connect through technology around the world instantaneously. And like everything that's happening right now, it's forcing us to really dive in and explore like how can we truly and meaningfully connect through these platforms. And like we just spent like 15 minutes trying to figure out like how we could share this conversation with the widest kind of audience of people. But at the end of the day, it's like, how can we just like maintain an authentic, real conversation and let it go deep, You're in technology, which is kind of weird, like when you're not in person, like there's a totally different dynamic. So like, those are just ideas that I've been contemplating a lot. Like, what will the future of human interaction be going forward after?
Well, it's funny you say wide, because for context, I've just come out of a 1-week detox. And being away from the noise of technology, every time you jump on something, there is noise, right? Like there's people's messages and things, like even for us right now to you, there's noise coming to you. And when I went into that detox, that stillness, one of the realizations I actually had is to actually not spread my message to the widest possible audience, but to the most aligned audience. The audience that is actually interested in whatever it is I have to share. And so, I've made a conscious decision to actually stop sharing some of my messages on some of the platforms where I have a lot of people connected. And that was one of the reasons why for me, I'm going to just share directly into the Vibe Tribe, because that is a microorganism group of people that are like-minded and are on a self-discovery journey. Because I realized me sharing to that wider audience can actually attract energy that I don't want in my field. which is people that don't get things, people that then get triggered by certain things, and it's actually not serving them as well. So it's actually had me kind of sit back and go, think about, who do I actually want to share stuff with and serve? And who is this in service for?
Yeah.
So that was an interesting thing too.
Yeah, that's really interesting. You know, like kind of jumping on, like piggybacking on that a little bit, it seems like right now people across the board are sharing more and more. Like we're all at home, we're all trying to figure out like what to do with our time, what to create, just, and like we're in this experimental sort of sandbox right now, in a sense, where like everything's kind of free game. And like I know personally on my channels, I'm seeing people that are sharing things that I had no clue they had any interest in, they had any skill in, that they were just involved in whatsoever. So it's really opening my eyes personally to all the creative talents and capabilities that people have. But kind of going to your point, it's like, who do I share that with? Who's going to like this stuff? Like, why am I sharing it? I think those are a lot of questions that people are having. And it's like, where can you share? Where is it appropriate to share like new things that you're jumping into? Is it Instagram? Is it Facebook? Is it Twitter? Is it Zoom? Do we need to have like more private sort of group settings so people feel comfortable to share these things? I don't know, but I know we're kind of like exploring that, trying to figure that out.
I think, I've seen a lot of public figures start to share things during this situation. And as soon as they share about a certain topic, it's like, boom, polarization. And you can just see it, this energy back and forth of people angry or different belief systems. And I think that, I'm inspired by the public figures that share that, because they're putting themselves on the line. Whereas a lot of people are not sharing things as a choice. And when they're putting themselves on the line, I've seen all of them go through a similar journey of having to deal with like, then they have to explain themselves or their position in another video or another one, because everyone is coming at them with beliefs or thoughts based on their own perception of reality. And that's not necessarily the message that person is trying to put across. And so what I kind of see is happening underneath the surface, to your point, is people are coming out and sharing things, and putting their beliefs and speaking their truth, not the truth for the world, but their truth. And what that's having happen people do is go, oh, that triggers me. Oh, I don't believe with that. Whereas these disagreements in beliefs have always been there, but never been vocalized. And then I've seen so much energy that is so polarizing. And what I believe, my belief is like, that's great, because it's now out in the open that, hey, there is like 50% on this side of a debate and 50% on this side. And that's always been the case, but it was never known consciously by people. But what we need now is empathy, because empathy requires vulnerability. It requires me to step into the shoes of somebody that doesn't have the same belief as me, and me to wonder from curiosity, why do they think that? Why has their life experience in that way had them lead to be believed that? And that requires me to put aside righteousness, pride. It's real vulnerability. And I think from that place, we can build bridges, because from that place of empathy and compassion, I totally have seen it, witnessed it, experienced it. People actually have they care about similar things. They're just coming at it from a different angle, like family, love. I just want to be safe. I want to be healthy,
Yeah.
But I'm at it from a different angle.
What are those like fundamental human needs, right? Because like, I think there definitely are some, and maybe there's survival sort of needs. Maybe they're more, as you work your way up the ladder, it's more like inspirational, artistic sort of needs that people need. But like, what are those core things? Maybe that's the ultimate question that we're exploring. But like, I think if we can kind of get at those ideas, get at those topics, and kind of like open up the conversation and almost frame up the conversation that like, hey, we all want this thing, this fundamental thing. We're all going to the same destination. We just have different ideas about how to get there. So like, I think that's a really interesting opportunity, is like just framing up like, what is that fundamental human need, so we know from the get-go we're all on the same page.
Totally. Yeah.
You know what's interesting about that? I'm just gonna just rant a little bit, is that I feel like when you're in person, face to face with somebody, you feel that human need. Like you feel we're in this together. Like I see that you're just another dude, or you're a mom, or you're a daughter, or just something real raw, right? But as soon as we get on social media, it's like we don't know. The walls go up, facades go up, opinions get thrown out with and it's so easy just to throw out anything and hurt other people. So we're getting into this new how do we connect online in that sort of way still.
Let's dive a little bit realer. I wanna zoom in a little bit on us, get into the personal stuff. Would love to start off with the first question, if that's cool. If you feel ready for it.
Good. I'm ready, man. Bring it on.
I want to know what in your journey so far.
It's echoey? I'm getting feedback that it's echoey. Is it super echoey?
When you talk, you hear it on his end, and when he talks, you hear it on your end.
Okay.
Technology.
Hopefully it's not too bad.
It's just because it's picking up what you guys are hearing from each other.
Gotcha.
So it's doubling.
Okay, I'll turn my audio down on my computer.
Easy.
This should help a little bit.
So question for you. In your journey so far, what has been the most powerful modality for you to raise your consciousness, awaken, come into discovering greater parts of yourself, feeling higher states of bliss, emotion? Yeah, there's a lot of modalities, but what's been that one for you that you would say has been the most powerful?
It's funny you asked me this, because I feel like I've found a new one, or realized in the last 2 weeks what that is. And it's really interesting, because we met in Arville in this eco village. I was studying yoga. You were doing your yoga. I went through a series of different meditation practices, trying to just quiet my mind and release emotions and really get as clear and connected as possible. But for me, the method or the practice that's been the most, I'd say, effective, and just releasing and opening. And it sounds super simple, but it's gratitude. Actually, I just wrote a little blog piece about this. I haven't shared it out yet, but gratitude for so long for me, it seemed like a platitude, right? It just seemed so simple and basic, and of course I'm grateful for life, right? That's how I was raised, to appreciate just things that are done for me, things that exist in the world. But to really put your conscious attention on the things that you're grateful for, or the feeling that just gratefulness brings, literally into your chest, that expansive opening feeling, that right there has been the most liberating, I'd say.
Awesome, man. So cool. I write gratitude every morning. It forces me to consciously start the day in gratitude. I think it's one of the most powerful consciousness states. Is one of my clients even mentioned to me yesterday. He sent me a message, and he just went, "I'm so grateful for I just started listening to my friends in a whole new way, and things that I wouldn't pay much attention to before. I'm just listening from this new place of curiosity and consciousness, and I'm so it's just gratitude for just them talking, or it's when you're having a conversation, or you see your friends in a certain way, and then you step out into this new field and you look at it and you're just observing, and it's wow, I'm grateful for this." Yeah, so powerful, man.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so good. All right, should I ask you my first question now?
How do you want to do it? I can keep rolling, or if you want to go one for one.
I don't know if your questions are sequential like that, and you want to just keep the momentum. We can.
All right, let's fly. I feel something I've seen you do a lot in your videos or talk about or whatever it is cacao. You seem to have a little bit of a ritual going with cacao, and I know cacao can be quite a powerful substance from nature. Tell me a little bit about your journey with cacao, like why do you do that? Like, what value does cacao bring your life?
Yeah. So for me, cacao, it's really been a tool. Um, well, there's a few different reasons. One, I'm just gonna be honest. It tastes really good.
Yeah, of course.
And I'm just being honest. It tastes for me it's just a lot better than coffee and tea, and it has very high nutritional value. Like it has the highest antioxidant of any food in the world. It has the precursors to serotonin, so it's literally releasing happy hormones into your body, and it's a vascular dilator. So it opens up your blood vessels and brings energy and oxygen into your blood. So for that physical taste sensation level, like that's one reason. And then two, I've always been really big about like gathering in circles with friends. And for that reason, I've always loved cafes. I've always loved going to restaurants, going to bars, meeting up with people, just going to spaces that facilitate the connection of different types of people. And as I've been on this journey and kind of have been steering away from things like alcohol or even things like coffee, to me, cacao, it's almost been a substitute for that. It's like this medium to bring people together in a way that's healthy, that's charging, that's uplifting. And it also has a spiritual element to it. I'm really into the traditional sort of the spiritual roots of how the Mayans and I think it's the Olmecs in Central America used it for spiritual ceremonies to essentially connect with a higher purpose, to something greater than them. And I think that really ties into the practice of gratitude, the practice of surrender, the practice of giving yourself up for an action, for a cause that's greater than just you. Yeah, man. So for those reasons, that's kind of that's why I've been pulling it into my life and my practice recently.
I love that you said substitute. You know, my understanding of habits is there's kind of three forms to a habit. You've got like the trigger, the habit, and then the reward. And when you said, you know, you've substituted it, you know, for old things that you used to do, maybe drink alcohol and coffee. What's powerful about that is when you get a trigger, whatever that trigger is to want to drink coffee or alcohol, maybe it's sleepiness. Yeah. What I've learned is the psychology of it. You don't need to change the trigger. You don't need to change the reward, which is the hit of serotonin or the hit of energy, right? That chemical reward we get in our system. You just change the habit. And so you've come to a cacao, which is just like a higher nutritional thing that's actually really good for the blood flow. As you're saying, it's opening up the cardiovascular, spreading the blood through the body. And it's got all those antioxidants. It's awesome. Where's the best, because there's different grades and forms of cacao, right? And I'm assuming you want to go as pure as possible. Where are the best places for people to buy like the best cacao? Like what kinds of places?
So ceremonial grade is like the purest, kind of boldest flavor that you'll get out of cacao. And essentially what that is, it's like the cacao powder with the butter still intact. So at Whole Foods, you'll be able to find the powder. But if you really want the real deal that has the highest nutritional value, the best flavor, and is really sourced from, you know, very, very carefully sourced with like real solid connections between the sourcer and the source itself, then I would say there's a few brands that I've been purchasing cacao from lately. One is Choco Vivo in Los Angeles. They have a range of different cacaos from Mexico. Another one is Firefly Chocolate. I think they're based in LA or San Francisco. And then a third one, which this is like really kind of traditional, and a lot of people say that he's the guy that kind of sparked the whole cacao movement in the West, which is Keith's Cacao. And I think Keith's Cacao is based in Guatemala. And from what I've heard, it's more of like an earthy, like very like it tastes like beans that you're drinking. But apparently the effects are very, very powerful and great for ceremonies.
Beautiful, man.
Yeah.
And last question for you is real talk here. It's like, what's been your number one challenge just during this time? Whether you're still navigating it or you have navigated it, yeah. What have you found the number one challenge to be for you?
Number one challenge, I think, with everything that's going on, like societally and personally, I'd say, and again, this sounds kind of like stereotypical, but getting out of your own way. For me, like I've always been an overthinker. So being able to look at my thoughts and say to myself, those are just thoughts. They're just coming, they're just going, and let them fly away, and really ease back into that space of gratitude and knowing that literally everything that I ever need exists right now in this present moment. To just hold that thought in my brain and feel it in my heart, it's so liberating. So that's really helped silence kind of that overthinking, critical, fear-based brain. So that's been the biggest challenge, and gratitude.
What is it that you've been scared of? Like, what are those thoughts being contained?
Yeah, I'd say it's more of a uncertainty of like what to pick. So like I've gotten to the state where I'm like, anything's possible. Like I could literally become anything that I want to be. Now it's like, what do I choose? And deciding is like one of the most challenging things if you overthink it. But if you just feel into it, then, you're going to be led in the right direction.
The paralysis of choice.
Yeah.
And it's like the self-doubt, the conscious mind with the intuition that knows, hey, that dance. Yeah.
It is.
Beautiful.
Yeah, coming back to that place of centeredness, stillness. All right, is it my turn to ask some questions?
Go for it. Yeah, brother.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. So I have a few different ones. I'm trying to think which one to start with. Let's just go with this, because I think. Well, I'm not going to preface it. I'm just going to ask the question. What does a meaningful connection mean and look like and feel like to you?
A meaningful connection. Nice. Yeah, it's one that feels like good in my nervous system. Yeah. One where I feel accepted by the person for whatever I say, and vice versa. We don't have to be on the same journey at the same place of the journey, or believe or agree on the same thing, but there is a mutual acceptance and understanding and compassion. What makes it even more meaningful, or the energy that kind of comes through my system, is when we are on a similar journey, and where it's like we're sharing the passion or the interest of the discovery together and going on a co-journey together. So, that meaningful connection could be just a once-off call. Like, I've never met this person, we have an epic chat. Or it could mean literally co-journeying through life together. And, there's definitely it's interesting because dancing with emotions is like, I've learned, I've even had to let go of some of my closest relationships, the emotional attachment that comes from that, because I really believe that emotional attachment, like I attach some relationships to safety. It's like, oh, these are my safety in life. And I've actually let go of that, because I really believe that attachment is not love. It's just based on my own needs for fear or security or safety. And so a real meaningful connection is one that is just built off unconditional love. And what I mean by that is the ability to be loved and to love the other person, no matter what they do or say, without conditions. Like there are no conditions attached to it. I don't need anything from you. You don't need anything from me. You say whatever you say. That's not going to influence my love for you, right? Another word for love, someone even said to me yesterday, like, Kristian, don't you think when you use the word love, that's going to like turn people off and be fluffy? And I'm like, rational mind, but like for some people, like that feeling where you feel connected, like you can feel like there is less of a gap between you and the other person. So if you want to go into the psychology of it, it's like people call isolation the gap in psychology. It's the gap between what I say and what you hear. That's isolation. And what you hear is different to what I say because we've had different life experiences. And unity is like bridging that. So the more we connect, the more we chat, the more we get to know each other, that becomes meaningful, and we're unifying the gap.
Amazing. I think that leads me into the next question pretty well, which is, how do you personally facilitate those meaningful connections? And that can be with yourself, it can be with other people. But like what you just talked about, like how do you get to that? How do you get to that state?
Get to that state, yeah. I would say, look, like I'm thinking like, I connect with people all the time, and some people I've never met before. And we jump on a call and we just share our life story, and it's like, boom, we're connected, and we're talking vulnerably. We're talking about our intimate soul paths. And I think that really just comes from actually getting to that place of like comfortability in myself, confidence, knowing, intuition, social skills to be able to read. That was just by really going on the journey myself. Like the more I know myself, the more I learn about myself, the more I can be confident in my skin, not put things in the way of me connecting with someone else, and a better ability to be able to read others. Because I use this self, like we have these whole worlds about selfishness and, all this stuff, but like the self is all I have. Like that is my tool to use to learn and experiment with, and therefore to actually learn about other people. Because, you talk about some of those nature's truths at the beginning. It's like, we actually fundamentally, if you remove, things like skin color and gender and all these things for a second, even like culture and, the country we're from, fundamentally our human beingness, we all got brains, we've all got hearts, we all need to be loved, we all need to eat. And this self, me learning about myself, is the greatest ability for me to learn about others. And I think that's a really important part to social intelligence, because, I remember back when I didn't have a handle on my emotions, I'm just walking around in life or in relationships, just like a walking emotion, like angry now, sad now, happy now, but don't tell anyone I'm angry. I'll just suppress that because that's bad. Sad now, but won't tell anyone. I'll just hold a grudge against them. Happy, like, and when I have that kind of understanding and knowledge, I can just be myself.
So
and
for you,
yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm just saying, when I'm not being myself, people don't really know who I am. They're not connecting with who I am when they're connecting with a mask, a social mask.
Yeah.
When I'm just myself, it's intimate, it's vulnerable. I'm allowing someone to actually see me and know who I am.
Do you have a particular tool or practice that's been most effective to explore and understand yourself and what's going on in your brain, your heart, and your body?
That's one tool. It's funny that there's this book called Letting Go by David Hawkins, and there's about 3 pages of tools. And I was reading each tool. It's like this tool, this tool, this tool, And I just laughed because I've been a seeker and I've tried a lot of tools. And I definitely was a seeker because I thought there was something wrong with me, or like I was searching for the answer, like, there's got to be more to this. There's more fulfillment. Yeah. And then I came to realization at one point, it's like, now the tools are just it's just like a fun game, an experiment, and I get to explore different parts of myself. And I honestly wouldn't say that there's one tool, but there's my profession now is I'm a coach. I help other people explore themselves. And something I reckon is support, is actually having people support, because something I went through in my journey, and I see a lot, is it's like, I'll just do it my way. I'll be independent. I can figure things out myself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just an old pattern and behavior. And it actually requires vulnerability to allow people to support us, allow people to serve us. Because when I was doing it my own way, sure, I was growing and but like, I can't see my own patterns. I can't undo my own things. I'm living in my own state. And so when I really allowed myself to open up to support
Mm-hmm.
and get coaches and mentors, and rather than me needing to know all the answers, like ask, people for guidance, I think that's the most powerful thing. Because one, it's not only I'm growing at a faster exponential rate, right? I'm tapping into more bliss and fulfillment. I'm actually connecting. I'm opening my heart to the heart of others, and people want to serve. People want to love, contribute, and then I'm allowing myself to receive that. And then vice versa, I'm giving that. And, and if you go into a lot of these like Eastern practices, they use the word devotion a lot. I wouldn't say I'm a devotional to any person or God or anything like that, but I can see the power of that, of devotion. I used to question it. That's weird. That's why are you giving your power over? And it's like, no, in surrendering or being a devotion being,
Mm-hmm.
they're actually like letting go and opening to life.
Mm-hmm. It's incredible. It really is. So so I'm just gonna let you know, my phone and my computer are both like probably at like 5%.
Cool.
But there's one more
Yeah,
thing, one more question,
yeah.
Which is, what is top of mind for you right now? Like when you wake up in the morning, like what is it that first pops into mind and you're like, all right, let's get to it?
The first thought, hey, is it? What's the first thought?
Or just like the most like prominent sort of thought, or thing that is just there in the forefront of your brain.
I would say it's similar to you. Is there's a couple of things coming up for me. Is my coaching business, I'm really that's just grown to the biggest it's ever been. I'm formalizing that, and that's like incredible for me, like supporting clients. It's amazing. And then in addition to that, there's my physical space, which is like I'm potentially moving to Byron soon, and then Hawaii, adventuring to Hawaii. It's really pulling me in India, but those things are uncertain, like with this whole situation, right? Yeah. So, but those thoughts come in. It's like, when am I going to do that? How am I going to do that? And then the other one is like all these add-ons to my coaching business. Like to your point, there's like I'm in a place of choice of paralysis, because all these things keep coming to me, like a lot of different tools. And a lot of them are built off network marketing models. It's like, plant medicine, like purified water, energy healing devices. And I'm like, am I meant to take these in? I don't know. So it's just more like there's stuff coming to me and me discerning what is true to my path. No ego, no mind trying to break in and go, quick way to make a dollar or dollar. It's staying true to, why am I here? What does universe consciousness want of me, and staying true to that. And I know when I stay true to that, I'm rewarded and I can serve the greatest. Whereas when I flicker to off the path, I mean, it'll be fun for a bit. I'll make a bit of cash. I'll do something here, but karma will go whack. Nope, not entitled to make that choice. Boom, not entitled to make that choice. Get back on path.
Yeah.
So for me, it's just listening to that, but also to your point, I've realized, don't stay in here too much, Kristian. Don't overthink it. I've been overthinking things for sure. And it's like, just surrender. Doesn't matter. You do that, make a mistake, go back. Do that, go back. Just test, just play. Hold my awareness of myself lightly, and think deeply about the world.
Beautiful. I think those are really good points for people to keep in mind when thinking just like what's going to come after COVID. Because I think there's so much change right now, and there's probably so many thoughts going on, so many different ideas. Like, how do I mean, for a lot of people, it's like, how do I just stay afloat? How do I make money? How do I just keep things going forward? And I think to be able to hold that in mind, and at the same time hold in mind the possibilities of like what you are truly capable of and what your path is, I think that's key.
Yeah. And that's, you nailed it on the head. Look, I'm talking to so many people right now, old, young, you know, people lost their jobs, people reevaluating their life, people finding the blessing in this, people like, you know, in a tough position, people on welfare, and and you know, all these network marketing businesses are coming at me. You know, someone mentioned, because people are now finding, you know, new income sources, new freedom ways of living. But the journey I'm in, and, you know, my mentors keep me accountable to this, is, look, there's some great opportunities here, financially, super aligned, all of this. You know, I'm in a very privileged position because I've done the work to be here, right? The mental, emotional, spiritual work. And my practice, my challenge is being really appealed, like, oh, lots of this is lucrative. This is like, and staying true to my highest thoughts, my highest self, holding the line for my heart. And that could mean saying no to something great. You know, I met a lady the other day that said no to $10 million. An investor was going to give her $10 million, and she said no. Wow. Because my intuition is calling me here. And she gets rewarded tenfold, not in money, but in life and fulfillment and relationship and creation. And that's where I'm at, is I got all these great opportunities in front of me, but it's like, how do I hold the line for my heart? And that's tough, because my ego is like, oh, I can make thousands of dollars doing this. Oh, this is so aligned. Oh, I'm in my head. Like, rationally, this just makes so much sense. I can even serve people. Like, this is saying I can even serve people. And then going, hold the line for my heart. Patience. It takes patience. Yeah. It takes having such a deep self-knowing of the self, believing in your ability, trusting the path. Like, there's so much wisdom in that. And it's tough. I tell you, like, me being in it, it's challenging. Yeah.
Man, so good. I feel like we dove pretty deep and hit on a lot of stuff. Thank you for sharing your just your journey and approach, and, you know, not only thought process, but being process, right? Like, how do you stay in that place of like your true self, your true being, just with everything that's going on. This is fun. This is fun doing this little this chat.
Hey, Olivia, I just saw your message. Apparently we're going to need to figure out this technology a little bit more going forward.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Really good to chat with you. And I'll just start out here now. I'm going to host an investing session on Saturday. Like, if you got money and you want to start considering how to invest in assets that are going to help regenerate the world and play into a new decentralized system, I'm going to host a session on Saturday in the Vibe Tribe on that. So might see you there, Charlie. But cool. Been able to chat and look forward to connecting and co-journeying with you more.
Yeah, sounds good. And I'm going to throw an event into the Vibe Tribe too, which is going to be a cacao meditation.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I think it'll be your Monday, so my Sunday.
Beautiful, man. Do I need to get some cacao ready?
If you have cacao, if you have access to cacao, yeah. If not, you can use tea, you can drink water. But really, it's just about connecting and taking time to get still and silent.
Beautiful, man. Sounds good, brother. I'll be there.
Of course.
Awesome, everyone. Thanks for listening, everyone. And hope you got something out of it. And I'll try and fix the echo going forward.
So good, man. All right. Logging off.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.